Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we are starting with the news analysis video for 1st of October. So September में we saw कि rainfall जो हुई with that washes off India's monsoon deficit. So herein problem is not deficit rain. Problem is the distorted pattern of rainfall that we saw this time in the monsoon. And apart from this, जो factual चीजें हैं, El Nino and again monsoon से related, how does it begin? And then Indian Ocean Dipole. So ये कुछ basic conceptual चीजें हैं that we need to know. Indian envoy blocked near the UK Gurdwara. So New Delhi seeks additional security for the High Commissioner. And there was an event which was organized by the senior community leaders. So India has taken up the requirement of additional security. So this is one step after this incidents that has been initiated. And apart from this, the matter was raised with the authorities in London also after the High Commissioner, who is touring Scotland, was stopped from entering the Gurdwara by two men. So we are seeing key tensions between India and Canada, they are flaring up. So herein, basically, it has been told that India does not want the shadow of this ongoing spat with Canada to fall on India's relation with the UK, and it is willing to regard the latest incident as an aberration. So right now it is visible that this incident which happened in UK, it indicates it was aimed at generating some propaganda points, and that is why again a confrontation was avoided. So October 7 is the deadline to exchange your rupees 2000 notes. And if you have not done that, so this deadline has been extended with about rupees 14,000 lakh crore worth of rupees 2000 notes. They're still not having found their way back into the banking system. The amount is rupees 14,000 lakh crores. It is still not returned to the banks, and that's why this deadline, it has been extended. And again, it might be that some portion of it would be black money also. So when we talk about the demonetization exercise, so the main aim, when we talk about the 2016 demonetization, which was done on 8th of November, so the main aim and objective of that exercise was to firstly target and curb the counterfeit currency, the fake currency. Secondly, target the black money. And thirdly, to stop the illegal activities which are funded through black money, like terror financing, and you can talk about human trafficking. And one of the major achievements that we can say, one of the major achievements out of the demonetization exercise that we saw was formalization of the economy. With that, we saw digitalization of the economy also going up and increasing simultaneously along with the formalization. So government, it is on track to clear the garbage mountains. So landfill sites to have one of the again proposed solutions to this problem can be, we need to go forward with engineered landfill sites. The keyword is engineered. So they need to be again engineered in such a manner that they are not a threat to the environment and human safety. So Punjab government ने, they have set a target कि 50% of जो stubble burnings की वजह से greenhouse gases emissions होते हैं, they have been targeting कि 50% तक उसको target करेंगे. So Punjab government की जो anti-pollution promise है, that is set for the field trial. So as paddy harvesting gains momentum in parts of Punjab, so the government is ensuring कि जो immediate challenge है, that is to curb the stubble burning, which every year it causes spike in the air pollution in the northern states, including in the national capital also. So instead of again यहाँ पे politically is issue को लेना, we need to look for what are the sustainable solutions in order to deal with this stubble burning issue and to curb such incidents. So to solve this problem of stubble burning, several efforts are being taken up by the Punjab government. And so let's see what are the steps. So the Punjab Pollution Control Board, it has in recent years been imposing penalties on the farmers who are found involved in burning the crop residue. So this is one measure. Now, again, when we talk about दिस मेजर कि आप फार्मर्स के ऊपर पेनल्टीज लगाओगे तो कितने हद तक ये आपको हेल्प करेगा, बिकॉज यहाँ पे अगेन आप फार्मर्स के ऊपर एक और एडिशनल फाइनेंशियल बर्डन इम्पोज कर रहे हो. So according to me, this is not going to be a sustainable measure. We need to look for other things like stubble burning, how we can use that as a byproduct in other industries, which can generate even income generating opportunities for the farmers. So NGT ने again 2015 में completely and clearly order दिया था of banning stubble burning. So with this order, this decision was taken कि farmers के ऊपर penalties impose की जाएगी. See, farmers जानबूझ के या intentionally they don't go for stubble burning, but उनको किसी और alternative का नहीं पता है. So that is why they go with stubble burning. So it becomes a responsibility and duty of the government and other different stakeholders in order to firstly make the farmers aware कि उनके पास और क्या alternatives हैं, again जिनकी वजह से even their income can increase. So that can be taken forward at war footing. So यहाँ पे भी government ऐसे arrangements कर सकती है कि it can procure the stubble from the farmers. So because there exists short window between paddy harvesting and sowing of the wheat crop, so that is why farmers they adhere to stubble burning, and this is one of the reasons. So farmers, they're also aware about the negative effects kya ho rahe hain because of stubble burning, but again, they don't know, they're not aware about any sustainable alternative to that practice. So under the crop residue management scheme, there is a crop residue management scheme. Uske under machines, they are being given on subsidy to the farmers, but again, जो small और marginal farmers हैं, वो still उसको afford नहीं कर सकते despite the subsidy. So यहाँ पे again, present government has been in power for 1.5 years now, and it has not come out with any concrete solution as of now. We're talking about the Punjab government. So giving a bonus to the farmers at least of rupees 200 per quintal on paddy to deal with this stubble burning. This can be one of the short-term measures, but we need to again go for the long-term and sustainable measures. So Argentina and India हमने sign किया है एक social security agreement, and that is to ensure the legal rights of the professionals in each other's domain that will assist in risk-free international mobility. So Erin, again, we're talking about ensuring the safety and the rights of the Indian diaspora, which is working and present in Argentina. So एक social security agreement sign किया गया है, which aimed at ensuring rights of growing number of Indian nationals who are employed in various Indian and international concerns in Argentina, as well as Argentina के लिए भी they would be again concerned about the Argentinians who are employed in India. So जो ये social security agreement है, this is going to allow जो professionals दोनों countries में work कर रहे हैं, they can claim their old age and survivors pensions under this agreement. So more awareness exists now. आज के time में we are well aware, या compared to previous times, earlier times, we can say कि आज के time में the awareness has increased amongst the citizens about what is the link between crime and separatist violence. So this is again created more well-informed citizens, and again we are seeing कि इसकी वजह से more and more people are also not going in support of this any such separatist violence which is visible. So in discussing whether diplomatic falling out between New Delhi and Ottawa, so here again we're talking about India-Canada tensions following the killing of Khalistani separatist leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar in British Columbia in June this year would have global impact, including in UK. This again जो हमने आज starting में home front page पे article देखा था, that was again we are seeing somewhere it is an impact because of these rising tensions between India and Canada. So our External Affairs Minister, he focused on what he called a heightened awareness of nexus between the separatism and the organized crime. So his remarks, they were made presumably hours after Indian diplomats, they were again reportedly prevented from entering Gurdwara in Scotland, UK. So we are seeing diplomatic difficulties emerging between India and Canada. So Army, it has undertaken a project Udbhav to rediscover Indic heritage of statecraft from ancient texts. So Indian Army has started an initiative which is named Project Udbhav to rediscover our profound Indic heritage of statecraft and strategic thoughts, which was derived from ancient Indian texts. And in connection with this, USI, it will conduct a military heritage festival also. So to acquaint the future thought leaders with the dynamics of comprehensive national security with a special emphasis on the India's strategic culture, military heritage kya hai, education, modernization of the security forces, and Atmanirbhar Bharat. So under this project, we are going to again explore कि India की rich historical narratives क्या रहे हैं in the realms of statecraft and strategic thoughts, and again उनकी आज के time में क्या relevance है. So again we can use them in the current times as well. So we are focusing on broad spectrum, including indigenous military systems, historical texts, regional texts, and kingdoms and thematic studies, and even intricate Kautilya studies. So these are different dimensions. So evolution of Indian military systems, war fighting, strategic thought, kaise hua. It is very important to understand this, and even for the current security personnel, army personals, they need to have a clear understanding about this. And we as a citizen also, we need to be aware about how this thing has evolved with time. So again, as I was saying कि कैसे हम इन learnings को जो thought ये evolve हुआ with time, इसको आज के time में हम कैसे utilize कर सकते हैं. तो this is also one of the aim of this project Udbhav, कि again इसको हम how we can use this different narratives to indigenize these strategies right now in the contemporary times. So Aditya L1 spacecraft, it has now escaped the sphere of Earth's influence. So far, it has been successful, and again, it is on its journey to be placed at the L1, which is the Lagrange point 1. So Lagrange point, basically, the herein gravity of Sun and Earth, they cancel each other. And from this point, we can constantly monitor the Sun in order to study and what are the objectives of this mission. So when we talk about tortoise trafficking network, तो चेन्नई एक बहुत important, you can say, destination है या node है इस पूरे tortoise trafficking network का. So Asian turtle crisis, it is a term which is often used to describe जो हमारी current state है of the tortoise and freshwater turtles on largest continent on the earth. So Asian turtle crisis, this is one phenomenon that we're witnessing going through, and जो wild populations है of these tortoise and freshwater turtles, it has suffered immensely due to the onslaught of the habitat destruction, illegal and unsustainable harvest. इसके साथ illegal trade is also going on in these species, because they, again, the purpose is for pet, for food and medicines across the world. That's why illegal trade happens in these species. And when we talk about the IUCN status, so they are threatened by extinction. So it's important to curb this illegal trade which is happening, and we have again identified that Chennai is one of the top node in this entire network. So freshwater species such as the Indian flap shell turtles, they are in great demand. So India के अंदर Chennai, Mumbai, they have the highest numbers of incoming trafficking links in this entire network. So एक तरीके से ये transit location की तरह work करते हैं. Coming to the world page. So almost all the ethnic Armenians, they have fled from the Nagorno-Karabakh region. So this is a territory of dispute between Armenia and Azerbaijan. And it's important, definitely it becomes important from the perspective of map work. So you can locate this thing on the map. And with this, again, the refugee crisis, the issue of refugees, that also emerges. So United Nations, it has said कि वो एक mission send करने वाला है to this region, mainly to assess क्या humanitarian needs हैं. First time, this is again, this international body, it has had access to this region in about 30 years. So Azerbaijan's military has taken over of this region of the ethnic Armenian enclave last week, because of which we are seeing people are fleeing this region. So we are seeing कि genus fuels antibiotic resistance in Yemen cholera epidemic. So even with we are seeing कि climate change की वजह से how the nature of disease that is changing. So that is again one of the challenges for our health infrastructure and the health system. So the genes imparting resistance to these multiple antibiotics that emerged in the Vibrio cholerae bacterial strains, which is responsible for this current cholera epidemic in Yemen around 2018 में, and उसके बाद से again mutations हुई and there were changes in the antibiotic treatment, जिसकी वजह से we saw कि antibiotic resistance has emerged. So there was improper tracking of the pathogen genomes to monitor the emergence of this multi-drug resistant strains that increase the human morbidity and mortality. So there was poor tracking of the changes in the pathogen that were happening and that led to antibiotic resistance. So this is one of the, again, globally we talk about one of the challenges to the health sector. So even TB patients को भी screen करना important है for pre-diabetics. So we are seeing increasing people with rising numbers of the non-communicable diseases. So 1 in 2 TB patients, either they have diabetes or they're pre-diabetic. That is, every other TB patient has some sort of glucose metabolism disorder. And apart from this, यहाँ पे भी टीबी की जब हम बात करते हैं तो यहाँ पे भी we are seeing the multi-drug resistant TB. That is also one of the variants and one of the challenges. So India may we have the target of completely eliminating TB by 2025. And again, जो target है हमने, we have preponed it by 5 years compared to the global target of 2030. So एक OGT test किया जाता है. So this test becomes important for us. So it is only in the screened patient with above 100 mg per DL fasting blood sugar patients, they should go for this oral glucose tolerance test. And again, you can see कि India का जो target level of eliminating that is by 2025, and it is impossible without reducing the prevalence of diabetes and pre-diabetic patients.
Okay, so what are the social impacts of the TB in Indian society?
Social impact, firstly, again, हम इसको इतना अर्ली डिटेक्ट नहीं कर पाते, तो हेल्थ ऑफ द पर्सन वर्सन्स अ लॉट. इसके बाद ही again they go to the doctor to seek the diagnosis of it. Apart from this, टीबी में एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज होती है कि जो आपको मेडिसिन लेनी होती है, यू नीड टू बी रेगुलर विद दैट, यू कांट मिस ऑन दैट. सो उसकी वजह से अगेन वी आर नॉट एबल टू एलिमिनेट दोज the patients who are diagnosed with TB. So that is one problem. उसकी वजह से if again your health is not good, so you will not be able to work, or if you're again a child, so you will not be able to attend your school, because कहीं ना कहीं it leads to a lot of problems at the same time. Apart from this,
So
there is one.
are these the social impact which you are telling?
Yes, these are connected. Social impact, you're not able to attend, you're not able to like on track, you're not like able to complete your education on time, or you're not able to work. So these are social impacts only.
Okay, so the most profound reason because of TB having impact in the Indian society is a discrimination which is usually seen among these patients, that they are treated with a lot of suspicion, and because TB is, though not a non-communicable disease, but the people who get subjected to TB, they are almost alienated from the mainstream society. So this is the most important reason.
But we can say that this thing has changed and it is changing. We can say that this can be more prevalent in rural areas, not in urban
Yeah,
areas.
so that is what I'm saying, because in India, the most of the society having such kind of impacts in the rural areas only.
No, it is not. So I don't agree with this कि rural areas में ज़्यादा है, urban में भी है.
What are you saying with that urban maybe has TB or social impact?
Number of TB diseases.
I'm not saying about the TB numbers. I'm saying about the impact.
हाँ, तो वही मैं भी बोल रही हूँ कि रूरल एरियाज में ये चीज ज्यादा देखी जाती है जो आप डिस्क्रिमिनेशन की बात कर रहे हो. सो आई एम सेइंग कि यहाँ पे बिहेवियरल चेंज विजिबल है. इतना कोई मेजर वी कांट से कि मेजरली दिस थिंग इज हैपनिंग.
Okay.
Now, very important topic, what are the concerns of using Aadhaar in welfare schemes? So why does the government favor Aadhaar-based authentication systems for distribution of rations under the PD system? Then government to citizen cash transfers, जो DBT transfers की अगर हम बात करें, तो therein also Aadhaar becomes important for wage payments in the MG Narega scheme. Then what are some common problems which are faced by the rights holders? So जो beneficiaries हैं उनको क्या challenges face करने पड़ते हैं because of this current system which is based on Aadhaar. So how has India reacted? Government, अभी recently there was a report which was made public जिसमें कुछ कंसर्न्स हाईलाइट किए गए थे रिगार्डिंग आधार की. अगेन डेटा प्रिवेसी से रिलेटेड कुछ कंसर्न्स थे एंड डेटा सेफ्टी. और एक और चीज हाईलाइट की गई थी कि देयर वाज सेंट्रलाइजेशन ऑफ दीज आईडी सिस्टम्स. सो इसकी वजह से कहीं ना कहीं देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ मिसयूज ऑफ दिस डेटा. सो दीज वर सम ऑफ द एरियाज व्हिच आर हाईलाइटेड बाय द क्रेडिट रेटिंग एजेंसी मूडीज. सो इंडिया ने इस चीज से कैसे रिएक्ट किया है? तो गवर्नमेंट हैज स्ट्रांगली रिफ्यूटेड कि all these claims. We back then also talked about कि challenges definitely exist करते, but at the same time जो हमने benefits देखे हैं अभी तक, we can't ignore them. तो terming Aadhaar as the most trusted digital ID in the world, this is the largest digital ID system which is working in the world. The government stated कि it is clearly evident कि जो authors हैं of this report, they are unaware that the seeding of Aadhaar in the MGNREGA database, it has been done without requiring the worker to authenticate using their biometrics, and that even payment to the workers under the scheme is made by directly crediting the money in their account. तो DBT की बात करें तो basically government ने बोला कि जो MGNREGA में आधार enabled transfer payment किया जाता है, वो उसमें the workers, the beneficiaries, they do not have to authenticate themselves using the Aadhaar data. बस उनको अपनी ID share करनी होती है, and through that they get their wage payments in their bank accounts. So firstly उसमें authentication नहीं required है. This is one thing. So जो error है related to inclusion and exclusion, उसका कोई यहाँ पे इशू इमर्ज ही नहीं होता है। सो रैशनल फॉर आधार क्या रहा, तो आधार एक यूनिक आइडेंटिफिकेशन नंबर है विच इज अगेन गिवन टू ऑल द इंडियन रेजिडेंट्स बाय यूनिक आइडेंटिफिकेशन अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया। सो जब आधार को एनरोल किया गया स्टार्टिंग में, जो हमारी डेमोग्राफिक डिटेल्स ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल्स विद द बायोमेट्रिक फिंगरप्रिंट्स एंड द आइरिस स्कैन वो कलेक्ट की जाती हैं, एंड दे आर कंसिडर्ड टू बी यूनिक आइडेंटिफायर्स फॉर एवरी सिंगल इंडिविजुअल। सो ये सारी डिटेल्स स्टोर की जाती है आधार डेटाबेस में। सो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स जो है यूआईडीआई के, दे वर टू इंश्योर कि सारे रेजिडेंट्स के पास एक यूनिक आईडी होनी चाहिए, सो दैट वी कैन कर्ब द करप्शन इन एक्सेसिंग द वेलफेयर प्रोग्राम्स, एंड वी कैन अगेन जो ये प्रॉब्लम थी ऑफ घोस्ट एंड द फेक इंडिविजुअल्स, ये हम एलिमिनेट कर सकें, क्योंकि एक इंसान की एक ही आधार आईडी हो सकती है। तो टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस वी कैन कंसिडर अगेन जो पीडीएस स्कीम है, यहाँ पे देयर वाज दिस प्रॉब्लम ऑफ घोस्ट बेनिफिशियरीज, सो दिस वाज एलिमिनेटेड थ्रू आधार सिस्टम, एंड टू इंश्योर कि एक इंडिविजुअल जो राशन शॉप को एक्सेस कर रहा है एंड trying to say कि again he is a potential beneficiary and gain the food grains is not a ghost or fake, तो गवर्नमेंट ने डेटाबेस को लिंक, जो राशन कार्ड होल्डर्स का डेटाबेस है और आधार डेटाबेस को इंटरलिंक कर दिया। So that's how we were able to again eliminate this problem of ghost and the
बट
fake.
क्या हम इस चीज के बिहाफ पे ये कह सकते हैं कि द प्रॉब्लम्स विल नॉट बी देयर?
No, we can't say this thing. Still problems
Okay,
exist
so
कर रही है, we have seen.
what kind of problems do you think will come even after doing this?
Even after doing this we are still seeing कि ऐसे incidents हो रहे हैं कि people they are dying off because of starvation, क्योंकि उनका जो आधार और ऑथेंटिकेशन इसमें रिक्वायर्ड है। जब हम पीडीएस सिस्टम की बात करते हैं तो गेन एक्सेस टू फूड ग्रेन्स, तो आपको ऑथेंटिकेट करना पड़ता है। तो फेलियर ऑफ आइरिस स्कैन, स्पेसिफिकली ओल्ड एज जो बेनिफिशरीज हैं, एंड अगेन फिंगरप्रिंट आपका मैच नहीं हो पाता, तो उसकी वजह से दे आर नॉट एबल टू गेट the food grains जो उनको मिलने चाहिए। they are the potential beneficiaries for that, but because of failure of this authentication they are not able to get access. So this is
So
one.
this is the one reason. Yeah. And the second reason is a duplication of Aadhaar cards is also seen, as you mentioned in the last session. Then there is limited checks and balance and monitoring over the authentication process. There is also corruption in the authentication process, so we need to work on that also.
या अगेन यहाँ पे जो ये मेन प्रॉब्लम थी, जो बड़ी प्रॉब्लम थी, ये थोड़ी छोटी प्रॉब्लम हो गई ऑफ दिस घोस्ट एंड द फेक बेनिफिशरीज। सो वी कैन से कि आधार की वजह से इसको हमने कंप्लीटली एलिमिनेट कर दिया, बट ये जो साइज ऑफ दिस प्रॉब्लम है वो छोटा हो गया, स्टिल एग्जिस्ट करती है ये प्रॉब्लम। सो आधार का रोल जब हम बात करते हैं कैश विड्रॉल्स में, तो डायरेक्ट पेमेंट की जाती है टू एमजेनरेगा वर्कर्स, एंड उसमें 3 स्टेप्स इन्वॉल्व है। तो जो फर्स्ट स्टेप है दैट इज वर्कर्स को अपना आधार नंबर लिंक करना इंपॉर्टेंट है टू देयर जॉब कार्ड। सेकंड, आधार मस्ट बी लिंक टू देयर बैंक अकाउंट्स आल्सो, एंड थर्डली आधार नंबर वो लिंक होना चाहिए विद द bank branch with the mapper of the National Payments Corporation of India, which acts as a clearing house for these Aadhaar based payments. तो ये 3 steps होने चाहिए, and Aadhaar it becomes the financial address, मतलब आधार की वजह से another benefit that we have seen is of financial inclusion also. सो आधार का यूज अब हमारे लिए कॉज ऑफ कंसर्न क्यों हो रहा है, तो कुछ ऐसे केसेस देखे गए हैं, जैसे अभी हम जस्ट बात कर रहे थे राशन कार्ड्स की। सेवरल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस एंड रिसर्चर्स उन्होंने प्रोवाइड किया है एविडेंस रिगार्डिंग डेमोन्स्ट्रेट कर रहा है कि जो मेन टाइप ऑफ करप्शन है दैट इज क्वांटिटी फ्रॉड, विच हैपेंस व्हेन सपोज कोई एंटाइटलमेंट है फॉर अ राशन कार्ड होल्डर इज 35 kg ऑफ राइस उनको मिलना चाहिए, बट द डीलर ओनली गिव्स 30 kg। तो एक ये क्वांटिटी फ्रॉड भी यहाँ पे हम स्पेसिफिकली अगर हम बात करें तो ये स्कीम की बात करें कि ये प्रॉब्लम क्वांटिटी फ्रॉड की ज्यादा बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है। तो आधार का इसमें कोई रोल नहीं है इन डिटेक्टिंग दिस क्वांटिटी फ्रॉड जो हो रहा है, या इसको प्रिवेंट करने में भी आधार का कोई रोल नहीं है। तो बहुत सारे रूरल एरियाज ऐसे हैं जहाँ पीपल दे हैव टू मेक इवन मल्टीपल ट्रिप्स टू द राशन शॉप्स सो दैट टू ऑथेंटिकेट विद नो गारंटी कि उनको ऑथेंटिकेशन वर्क करेगा नहीं करेगा। तो यही वो प्रॉब्लम जो हम अभी डिस्कस कर रहे थे। एंड
तो आपके पास कोई सोल्यूशन है इस प्रॉब्लम का, मतलब इसको किस तरीके से हम खत्म कर सकते हैं, अगर आप कुछ कहना चाहें?
खत्म करने के लिए फॉर दिस प्रॉब्लम राइट नाउ आई कांट थिंक ऑफ एनी सच solution which can be used. If you have any you can share.
वेल नंबर वन द इंस्टीट्यूशनल, तो हमारे पास ऑप्शन यही है कि हम प्रॉपर जो हमारे राशन शॉप्स हैं वहाँ पर चेकिंग्स करें, मंथली चेकिंग्स या वीकली चेकिंग्स बाय द ऑफिस सीनियर ऑफिसर्स ऑफ द फूड डिपार्टमेंट। ताकि ये पता लग पाए। और हमें इस ड्रॉप बॉक्स भी हर राशन शॉप पे हम प्रोवाइड करा सकते हैं, जहाँ पर जितनी भी ग्रीवियंसेस होती हैं जो हमारे राशन होल्डर्स होते हैं वो उनको डालकर रख सकते हैं, और वो पूरी लॉक्ड होंगी, जिसमें कि अंडर सीसीटीवी होंगी, जिससे ये पता लगता रहेगा कि उसके अंदर कोई भी छेड़खानी नहीं हो रही है।
हाँ, बट मेरे को बस यहाँ पे एक पॉइंट ये बोलना है कि इसका कितना रिलायबिलिटी कितना हो सकता है इस मेजर का, जब आप बोल रहे हो कि इंस्पेक्शंस किए जाने चाहिए, क्योंकि जो नेटवर्क है ऑफ दी शॉप्स वो इतना बड़ा है, तो क्या इट इज वाइबल कि ये पॉसिबल हो पाएगा? तो आई आई वाज थिंकिंग ऑफ एनी सच इनिशिएटिव जो रियल लाइफ में पॉसिबल हो, ग्राउंड लेवल तक वो उसका इम्पैक्ट दिखना भी चाहिए।
So we can take the help of, I think, digitization. Complaints via online method can also reach to the higher authorities of the food department.
हाँ, कंप्लेन्स हो सकती हैं, सीसीटीवीज इंस्टॉल किए जा सकते हैं। ठीक है। So current impasse क्या है about the Aadhaar usage? So government's push to make Aadhaar-based payments mandatory in MGNREGA, it has faced resistance from the workers and the field officials. So इसको mandatory, initially mandatory है, I don't think so, या अभी भी mandatory नहीं बनाया जाना चाहिए। एक option होना चाहिए to these workers कि या तो वो आधार के through they can get the payments or they can get it in cash also. सो एक ये प्रॉब्लम भी देखी गई है कि बहुत सारे ऐसे जॉब कार्ड्स हैं ऑफ द सेवरल एक्टिव वर्कर्स जो एक्टिवली वर्क कर रहे हैं और एंगेज्ड इन एमजेनरेगा स्कीम, उनके जॉब कार्ड्स डिलीट कर दिए गए हैं ऑन द ग्राउंड्स ऑफ बीइंग घोस्ट। सो दैट इज अनदर प्रॉब्लम। एंड यहाँ पे अगेन वी कैन से कि आधार इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले कर सकता है वेदर दे आर घोस्ट और नॉट। And based on such dilutions of accountability in the welfare due to Aadhaar, critics they are concerned कि government का intention क्या है of linking even the voter IDs with Aadhaar. So this thing is still an undergoing exercise. We need to link your Aadhaar with even the voter IDs. So यहाँ पे again फिर वो कुछ concerns यहाँ पे emerge हो जाते हैं. So these are all possible dimensions regarding the usage of Aadhaar in the welfare schemes and what are the challenges because of that. Now again we talk about TB. तो क्या इंडिया में TB ड्रग्स की शॉर्टेज है? Are we going through this problem or not? So WHO firstly closely follow कर रहे situation को by visiting different states and facilities that we have. तो गवर्नमेंट की पोजीशन क्या है on this thing? क्या situation है on ground? And again states क्या report कर रहे हैं regarding the stock of the medicines? Then what is being done to address this issue of less supplies? And WHO को क्या कहना है on this thing? सो सबसे पहले तो ये समझते क्या कि ये न्यूज ट्रू है या नहीं है। सो 23 अगस्त को वी सॉ कि तमिलनाडु स्टेट टीबी ऑफिसर said कि जो यूनियन गवर्नमेंट है not supplied adequate doses of the rifampicin and some other drugs जो यूज किए जाते हैं in treating the multi drug resistance TB. So states have been asked to procure these drugs themselves, but कोई और additional funding उनको provide नहीं की गई। तो ये अगेन स्टेट्स के लिए एक प्रॉब्लम हो गई है कि सेंटर उनको सप्लाई इंश्योर नहीं कर रहा है, एंड एट द सेम टाइम डिफरेंट स्टेट की डिफरेंट पोजीशन होगी। जब हम फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन की बात करें तो वेदर दे वुड बी हैविंग द फंडिंग एट दैट पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम कि वो लोग खुद ड्रग्स को प्रोक्योर कर सके या ना कर सके। सो ये प्रॉब्लम तो एग्जिस्ट करती है। Apart from this, has the government procured TB drugs or not? So we see कि government ने एक press release किया जिसमें government claim कर रही है कि all the drug sensitive TB drugs they are available with sufficient stocks ranging 6 months and above. So this has been made public by the government. In case of drug resistant TBs हम बोले तो they say कि it shared the stocks available at the national level महाराष्ट्र में without saying कि how long the stocks would last. So वहाँ पे हमें again available stock की पूरी information नहीं दी गई है कि कब तक last करेगा जब हम multi drug resistant drugs की availability की बात करते हैं। सो यहाँ पे अगेन पूरी पिक्चर क्लियर होनी चाहिए ऑल इंडिया लेवल पे, नॉट जस्ट डिफरेंट स्टेट्स या एक दो स्टेट्स आप मेंशन कर दो क्या पोजीशन है। सो क्या बाकी दूसरे टीबी ड्रग्स की भी शॉर्टेज आ रही है? नहीं है। तो यहाँ पे अगेन सप्लाई प्रॉब्लम है। सो क्या ये पहली बार हो रहा है इंडिया में? सो नो, दिस इज नॉट हैपनिंग फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम। सितंबर 2021 में भी वी फेस द शॉर्टेज ऑफ एमडीआर टीबी ड्रग डेलामिनेड, एंड 2013 में भी वी अगेन फेस दिस प्रॉब्लम।
So, what do you think? What are the major reasons behind the shortages of drug in India?
See, for that I'll have to go through पहले तो are we so much dependent upon the imports, या we are again domestically supply कर रहे हैं? Domestically अगर we are manufacturing these medicines, so then what is the problem? तो क्या raw materials shortage is a problem, और मतलब background कितना important है?
The number first concern you have just raised, that because of the raw material non-availability, we need to import a lot from the China, like API we import in the manufacturing of the medicines. So that is the one reason. Second reason is the monopoly over the drugs companies by the government, which hampers the private, pharma companies to produce, and that creates a demand supply problem in the country. Number third is the cartelization done, and licensing on the pharma companies, which are very strict in India. And the most important reason is the corruption in the drug industry, where even in the government hospitals, the medicines which are being provided to deliver for the patients in the name of social welfare, those are not given to them, and those are sold outside of the hospitals into the normal markets in less rates. So on multiple angles we have to look. The government as well as the private pharma companies needs to have a proper collaboration to solve this drug crisis in India.
Yes, and like when we talk about what are the measures that are being taken by the government, again वहाँ पे थोड़ा time lag रहेगा in terms of the results. So that is again the scheme that we are creating drugs parks. So that is going to take certain
And along with the drugs parks, there's a very good example. Along with the drugs parks, we should also go for medicine ATMs, drugs ATMs, so that the corruption can be reduced to a large extent in India.
Yes. So very important topic again, geopolitical issue internationally. So Asia's disputed waters, South China Sea की हम बात कर रहे हैं. So firstly, map work से related ये topic बहुत important हो जाता है. So first let's understand this only. So this is the water lagoon जिसकी हम बात कर रहे हैं. South China Sea, and ये जो blue line दिख रही है, this is called the 9-dash line. तो यहाँ पे again उसको इस तरीके से draw नहीं किया गया, but this is the 9-dash line जो China का claimed area है. And China lays claim to this 90% of the South China Sea, believed to be rich in oil and gas reserves. So जितनी भी अब surrounding and littoral countries हैं, they are having concerns regarding their exclusive economic zone. Apart from this, Gulf of Tonkin यहाँ पे located है near Hanoi, which is capital of Vietnam. Then Hong Kong is located here. Taipei, which is again capital of Taiwan, that is here. Manila, Philippines. Sulu Sea, different seas जो हैं वो again we need to know their location. Spratly Islands, different islands, that is important. And we see कि 22nd September को Philippine Coast Guard discovers 300 barrier placed across the entrance to an atoll. So we are seeing again these are actions which are being taken by China. Philippines has removed a floating barrier recently जो China ने install किया था to block access to a prime fishing patch within a disputed area of the South China Sea. So China again अपने फायदे के लिए, that's how it is taking actions, and it is definitely it is not. यहाँ पे you can see कि जो Scarborough shoal है, this is this water lagoon जो एक in a way barrier की तरह act कर रहा था. So barrier was installed over here and this was removed by Philippines. So again क्योंकि Philippines यहाँ से closely located है. So China अपने benefit के लिए we are seeing it is not abiding with the international law and order in the different treaties that are there. So recent dispute between China and Philippines was over this area only, lagoon, जो in a way a barrier install किया गया था so that the other countries don't get access to that rich fishing region, and this is responsible for simmering tensions in the strategic waters with ramifications to all the countries in the Indo-Pacific region, including India. So South China Sea एक strategic body of water है abutting the Western Pacific, and उसके north में lie करता है China and Taiwan, west में है Indo-Chinese Peninsula and including the long Vietnamese coast, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. Southern parts may we have Indonesia and Brunei, they open up into the sea, and finally east may it is Philippines, which refers to the waters of its coast as the West Philippine Sea. So this region is referred to as West Philippine Sea. And as much of we see as much as $3.37 trillion worth of trade is passed through South China Sea in 2016. So this is again an important sea trade route. So that's why firstly it becomes strategically important. And 80% जो global trade है by volume, 70% by value is transported through this sea. So 60% जो total volume है passes through Asia within the South China Sea. So that is the significance of this region. So China, South China Sea में it is a dispute because China के बहुत सारे ऐसे claims है related to land features like islands and reefs which are located here. And we have the UN Convention on the Law of Seas. Every state has the right to establish the breadth of its territorial sea up to limit not exceeding 12 nautical miles. So this is again what this convention says. And exclusive economic zone की बात करें तो it is up till 200 nautical miles from the territorial sea baseline. So यहाँ पे एक major violation है because of this 9- line जो कि claim किया जाता है by China. Then we have Asia Maritime Transparency Initiative, जिसमें as many as 70 disputed reefs and islets, they are under contestation. And this Asia Maritime Transparency Initiative का कहना ये है कि China, Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia, Taiwan, they have built more than 90 outposts on these disputed features. So इसमें सिर्फ like China ही नहीं, बाकी countries भी involved हैं. And Vietnam occupy करता है between 49 to 51. So we have the numbers. Apart from this, China का जो stand है, it says कि 20 outposts जो है Paracel Islands में, 7 Spratly Islands में, and it has since 2012 exerted control of the Scarborough Shoal through a constant coast guard presence there also. So China again बोलता है कि historically China का presence रहा है, they belong to China. But कुछ again economic benefits भी exist करते हैं. सो आसियान बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करते हैं पूरे रीजन में. इंडो पैसिफिक रीजन की हम बात करें तो कुछ कंसेप्चुअली चीजें हमें पता होनी चाहिए. फर्स्टली इंडिया इज नॉट अ मेंबर ऑफ आसियान, देन 10 member countries are a part of ASEAN. We need to know their name also. So diplomacy and arbitration के through it is being tried कि हम जो disputes हैं उनको resolve कर सके through this platform of ASEAN. There are talks how we can manage South China Sea between China and ASEAN, and it has focused upon एक कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट होना चाहिए जो अगेन सारी डिफरेंट मेंबर कंट्रीज को फॉलो करना इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो सारी बात यहीं आके रुक जाती है कि चाइना उसको फॉलो करेगा नहीं करेगा. सो यू कैन सी कि अगेन चाइना रिजेक्ट कर देता है जो भी आर्बिट्रेशन जो भी रिजल्ट्स होते हैं, एंड रिस्पॉन्स इशूड अ वाइट पेपर जिसमें इट हैज क्लेम कि चाइना की सोवरेनिटी एंड रेलेवेंट राइट्स एंड इंटरेस्ट वायलेट होते हैं. सो यहाँ पे अगेन चाइना का यही कहना है कि जो भी अगेन उसके इंटरेस्ट है, इट हैज एस्टैब्लिश्ड इन द लॉन्ग कोर्स ऑफ हिस्ट्री, दे गेट वायलेटेड, एंड सारे चाइना ही in a way it is asserting itself over the rights of other countries also. So even 55% of जो इंडिया का ट्रेड है that pass through South China Sea, so that's why Indo-Pacific becomes important for even India also. So it enjoys maritime, strategic and commercial significance.
So this territorial claim by the China on this area is gonna be for a long time because of having economic and strategic power of China these days, which is rising so much. Now, what are the concerns for India? The only concern for India is the trade relations with the sea trade joining the ASEAN countries and the China along the Russia also. So, what do you think? Like, what are the possible outcomes this policy can have for India's economic relations with these countries? Do they put any sort of danger for us?
Yeah, it is majorly and most oftenly it is going to be related with the trade, and that is going to firstly impact India's growth also. Apart from this, if there is suppose any war in this region, like we are seeing tensions growing up in Taiwan, so even that is going to disrupt the trade activity with the trade routes that flow through these regions. So these are the yes.
Taiwan can't afford to be at war with China, right? So
Taiwan, it can't afford, but if there is a war, it does not have any option.
I didn't get you. I mean, what do you want to say? Taiwan will be hurdle for India's and China's trade relations. You want to say this?
A hurdle not in the way of their existence, hurdle if there is a war in this region. because that is again going to involve USA air. It is not going to be only between China and Taiwan.
See, as far as my opinion is concerned, this area is very much subjective as far as the China is concerned. So it is gonna have a claim on these island territories, despite criticism from the United States and UN and other Western European countries. Because
Yes, it
so what India
continues
can
to
do
have.
actually, India can have the Indo-Pacific strategy. Because if China is gonna claim, some sort of license and permits to allow the ships to come and to have, shipments of the trade and all in the South China Sea. So the similar steps the India can also take into the Indo-Pacific area. So for India, there is not as that much concern because this is a territorial claim of China on these island territories. So India can't actually have any problem in this.
No, I don't agree with this ki India can't have a problem. We can't have again a tit for tat kind of reaction to everything. फर्स्टली आपने बोला कि अगर चाइना ऐसा कुछ लाइसेंसिंग या परमिट टाइप ऑफ सिचुएशन थिंग यहाँ पे इंट्रोड्यूस कर देता है साउथ चाइना सी रीजन में, सो फर्स्टली आई डोंट बिलीव कि दैट वुड बी अलाउड टू फंक्शन बाय अदर मेंबर कंट्रीज विच आर देयर लोकेटेड इन दिस रीजन एंड इवन बाय अदर कंट्रीज विच आर नॉट लोकेटेड, बिकॉज अगेन फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ ट्रेड this region is important and China solely and independently cannot function in this manner in this region. These are like so far we are seeing ki claims hai to different islands, artificial islands construct kiye jate, but abhi tak as in ट्रेड डिसरप्शन मेजरली हमें नहीं देखने को मिला है. वो हमारे लिए दैट इज व्हाई इट बिकम्स अ कंसर्न कि इस रीजन में अगेन थिंग्स दे फ्लो एंड दे go as per they are like functioning smoothly. So I don't think so.
Okay, so
वो
you were
आपको
saying that China actually cannot claim, right?
China actually cannot.
Claim this region as in
It,
its
it
own.
cannot claim because it is violating the unclosed measures and jo law and order hai, it is leading to disruption of that. It cannot
Okay,
claim
so it
that
is
it's wrong, but it
okay.
claims this thing and it has been doing this from a very long time. So these are two
Yeah,
different.
so it is claiming itself because it is written on the paper itself that China lays claim to 90% of the South China Sea, believed to be rich in oil and gas reserves. So it is already claiming.
Yeah, it is already claiming, but that is not leading to any kind of disruption in the trade. That's what I'm saying. But if you are saying you, in future, if it introduces a kind of permit system, so that can also become a cause of war in this region.
Yeah, so this is gonna be a far long thing, so we'll look into that later.
So China's economy it stabilizes and factory activity it rebounds. So of late we were seeing कि China जो economy है it was slowing down. इसकी वजह से globally we definitely had concerns about the reviving economies after the COVID-19 pandemic. But right now we are seeing कि economy it stabilizes and the factory activity it also it is showing signs of revival and rebounding. So PMI of September month shows कि जो factory activity है it expands for the first time in 6 months. And as per a survey, the major manufacturers, non-manufacturing also improves. So now for us, what is going to be important is key whether this thing sustains and it grows or not. That is important. Industrial profits and different things have been mentioned. Policymakers, they show key they continue to grapple with the property sector debt crisis there. So that is one of the major areas, major regions or sector which is responsible for the economic slowdown right now. But globally, when we
Okay, so
talk about,
what are the learnings from the China we can take to reach the same economy level which the China has today? Can we learn something from China?
yes, China, firstly, China में जो उन्होंने model adopt किया, that was they emphasized and used a lot of the special economic zones that were created. And उसमें भी different areas पे they focused upon specialization in one area. So that is one thing that we can, as a lesson, take away from China and utilize that according to the Indian conditions.
Okay, so the SEs had, so we also are having
But
these days.
we are having not at that scale that China used to have, or in the beginning, how China used that policy. We are having,
Okay, so
we need to
yeah,
increase the density and specialization.
apart from this, what we can do in the economy sector?
See, majorly, this is the main thing that I can think of.
Okay, fine.
We're taking up Financial Express newspaper. So aspirational blocks initiative has been set in motion. So herein also aspirational blocks. So we are also focusing here on specialization only at the block level. So we have launched the new aspirational blocks program in 500 blocks, and this may be by next year at least 100 of these they will become inspirational blocks, implying the rapid progress they are likely to make during this period. So herein also we are seeing as we talk about promoting local goods, so that is going to get a boost through this program that is there. Definitely it is going to even impact the lifestyle and we can say quality of life of the people at the local level. So टेक्नोलॉजी की अगर हम बात करें तो how you can think of even apps and the technology revolution digitalization की वजह से how our lifestyle has changed and it is now revolving just around apps, whether it is tracking your sleep or ordering food. Definitely that's there, and exercising maybe planning your meals, that is also आप apps के ऊपर rely कर रहे हो. तो everything is become in a way commercialized. जो इसका natural essence है, we have lost that. तो meal planning app it definitely benefits भी हैं, but वो कितना actually आपको real life में help कर रहे हैं, so that needs to be looked into. आपका time बचता है, आपकी energy exhaust नहीं होती in planning your food while helping meet your हेल्थ गोल्स. तो इवन उसमें भी आप किस तरीके को फूड यूज कर रहे हो, बिकॉज ऑफ लेट वी आर अगेन सीइंग की वी नीड टू, जब हम इवन हेल्थ सेक्टर की भी बात करते हो तो वी टॉक अबाउट कि वी नीड टू फोकस अपॉन द ट्रेडिशनल प्रैक्टिसेस. सो इवन हेल्थ में भी फूड हैबिट्स में भी द ट्रेडिशनल फूड्स वी आर अगेन सीइंग की that is now coming more to prominence. Okay, so in next session we'll be taking up the Indian Express newspaper.